Uh, I just got to say a little more. Um, so these hackers, I don't know who they are. I have never found out who they are ever since the first hacker that hacked my phone when I was in about 2017 or 2018. I've gone through different phones. They keep doing it. I get political, and then they hack again, and they hack again. And law enforcement doesn't do anything, and FBI didn't do anything. Now, I was just going through this, and a hacker tried doing something on the phone to try to show a picture of me being goofy or something like that. Now, I'm willing to be goofy and stuff with people who uh, are deserving of it. I'm not going to be an enjoyable person around people who are shitty people who uh, are manipulative assholes and shitheads and stuff like that. Uh, these hackers who are hacking this phone right now, they're trying to get me to put out some kind of a fake persona, a cheerful persona in the midst of being oppressed. And that is what I am. Is I am oppressed. I am a 38-year-old oppressed Utahn. Um, I speak out against psychiatry. I speak out against mental illness. I speak out against the corruption of the Salt Lake City Police Department. I speak out against the fact that the real estate, uh, the people who work in real estate advertisement that control the algorithms, they made sure that they put me in this apartment so that they could uh, do specific things to me. This apartment, it would be a. I go back and forth on frames of mind because when I look in the mirror, I see a very high quality man, a very high quality human being, and yet I'm living this life where I'm treated like a low quality human. Uh, it's kind of I'm not gonna. So I I never could figure out why, but my mom, she's on meds. She's been on meds for years, and I tried to get her off the meds for years because the meds, they make you not want to stand up for yourself and fight back against people that treat you like trash. And my mom's side of the family is very, very, very shitty, and they're cowards too. They're chicken shits. And so that neighbor that I just made a video of, his friend was saying you're gonna get killed or something like that. Well, I'd rather get killed standing up for what the fuck I believe in than live a life as a pussy, an oppressed pussy. So that guy can go to hell. He can kiss my ass. But yeah, so my mom, she, I don't, I can't understand it. I mean, this state, it beat her down, and she let it happen to her. Uh, she won't get off her meds. I got her off. She got off the meds, and I actually, there was a moment she was smoking a little weed and stuff and making herself happy. And I don't know who, but some people in the community, they got involved in her life and scared her, intimidated her and stuff, and she went back on the fucking meds to go back into her comfort zone. And now she's where she's at. But she would not, she always lived in places where there was no dishwasher. Uh, my father, well, it's kind of, this may not be as important of a fact as I think it is, but my father, he has a home with a dishwasher. But my mom, she, I don't know if her current home has a dishwasher. They moved her. The uh, the real estate. So she applied for a loan and then she got it. And she's got horrible credit. I've got horrible credit. I wanted to start a truck driving company. Uh, and I got a credit card and stuff. And then economic warfare was waged upon me. And I wasn't able to make the payments. And now I've got a credit card it's got a $200 limit. Because I was trying to build my credit so I can get a loan, so I can get a semi and start my own business. And I wasn't able to do that. And, okay, now back to the phone. So these people that hack my phone and stuff, it's like they're telling me to act a certain way. And if I don't act a certain way, if I don't act the way people tell me to act, when I'm getting treated like shit by people, it's about a week and a half ago, or about a week ago, I was walking to Matheson Courthouse, and I was pissed, and it was an angry strut all the way, and it's about a 3-4 block walk from my apartment to Matheson Courthouse. I have every right to show my emotion, and when I got there, the fucking sheriffs, they were trying to joke with me. And then when I wouldn't joke with them, one of them, he told me to lift myself up by my bootstraps. He lifts his pants up like a little asshole, a punk ass fucking asshole. I had a thought that was going to go into this a little bit. Oh yeah, so I was going to 10th Planet Salt Lake City. I got kicked out because there were 2 people there that were bullying me, and I stood up to them. And then the black belt that runs that place, he kicked me out. He said I couldn't come back, and I didn't do anything wrong that day. I didn't do anything wrong that day. And as far as anybody who is going to look into it, first of all, screw you. I don't need your help in terms of that. Politics is all about finding out who did what wrong and this and that. Look, bygones are bygones. I don't want anything to do with them. Okay, you know what? So those motherfuckers at 10th Planet Salt Lake City, they're assholes too. They would talk. They would talk. They did the same stuff that my. Okay, let me get back to this point about how it's weird about how my dad, he gets a home and it's got a dishwasher and stuff, and the kinds of oppression that you let occur in your life are going to happen. Now, some of it I can't really do much about because I am one man, but I am speaking out. I speak out against the mental illness baloney. Now, it's probably going to waste my life. The baby boomers, they're the ones that sent the advertising of mental illness through the roof to indoctrinate millennials and Gen Zers. The baby boomers, now I could be wrong. Maybe it's the Gen Xers. Maybe it was both. There are a lot of millennials that strongly support psychiatry, and they are in the age group of me. We're in our 30s and stuff, upper 30s, and it's business, it's control, it's economic control, it's money. This country is money and sex. That's all it is. So back to this phone. So I'm scrolling, and then this person, they try to sit there and go. I'm scrolling. I drag my finger and I scroll, and the hacker freezes it on a certain picture I took of myself being goofy, being funny, being enjoyable, which I'm capable of doing. And I will do that. But I'm not going to do it to people that code talk to me, lie to me, act racist or misandrist, or do things that hurt my feelings. A man a man's feelings are just as important as a woman's in this country. Now, back to uh, back to 10th Planet, Salt Lake. You know, they did a lot of things to me that I put up with it. And some of the pictures where I was being goofy, I was enduring that stuff and it was bugging me. And uh but I let it go. I didn't really let it go. Look, you know, you know what? Let's talk about this for a second. I'm going to say something right now. Whether it's musicians or it's comedians that end up killing themselves or actors or whoever, celebrities, music, whoever, comedians, Robin Williams, perfect fucking example. The guy, this is a very, 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 very abusive society. It's a very abusive, manipulative society. It's all about money and sex, and the people that run it, they won't let it change. They're the kinds of ideas that a person like me will come up with. They'll be like, no, we don't accept that. We're going to keep it the way it is, and we're going to let people. Uh, it's using people. It's kind of like the Karl Marx term, use value. Uh, whether it's a monetary value or it's using you for free political work or it's using you for it's like, you know, if I behave and exhibit a certain kind of a personality where I potentially want to, I don't know, stand up for myself or whatever, my neighborhood will get mobbed with homeless people. It's like I don't know if some of them know how to hack or if they get just sent over here or whatever. But uh, social engineering it's a very real thing, and it happens in this country at very high levels. Uh, you know, Noam Chomsky makes a very, very important point. I'm a fascist. I'm on the right. I'm like an anarchist fascist. But I will still quote Noam Chomsky if he talks about facts that are completely legitimate and important for a situation. Now, what he says is that what did he say? God damn it! Fuck! I lost it, and I lost what the hell I was talking about. I can't rewind in the middle of recording, so I'm gonna have to just move on. But look, I hate America and I hate Americans. Well, I hate Utahns. That's my individual perspective. I'm a Utahn in Salt Lake City. It's a liberal fucking hellhole. I mean, you get these women, they'll sit there and they'll like show you their stomach and stuff, but you can't really date them. You ask them out on a date, and they'll reject you and stuff. It's really fucking manipulative. Um, and uh, and there's a lot I can complain about this culture, but real estate advertising. I was living with my mother in uh, eastern Salt Lake on the border of Sugar House and Mill Creek. And that's I started speaking out again about politics. If you speak out about politics, the social control mechanisms will crack down on you, and people will start exercising control. They'll start uh, controlling. They'll use social manipulation as a way to control who is around you or the kind of mood they're in when they walk past you on the sidewalk. And all kinds of stuff. And Um, so 10th Planet Salt Lake, they used a lot of specific. Uh, so I'm getting this tattoo removed, which it's not actually doing very good. I think I've gone through about at least 4 treatments so far. Now maybe I'm I suspect I get bad service in new situations real fast. So I could be wrong on this tattoo removal. It doesn't look like it's getting removed very good. I think that they turn the voltage down and up, and they're trying to time shit. So it's laser away in Trolley Square, Salt Lake, off of 7th East, and it's a bunch of women. I think I picked the wrong fucking spot, uh, and they're trying to time. They're trying to control the pace at which my tattoo gets removed, uh, and or that's what I think. Now I could be wrong on this. Maybe I'm just assuming something that shouldn't be assumed, but you'd be surprised at the kind of stuff I put up with. I mean, I've got years of journaling, and I'm gonna keep going too. I'm gonna keep it up so that when I die, uh, I want people to go through my journals. I want people who are in the later half of the 21st century, if that's when I die, uh, or the generation just after Gen Z when they grow up, to go through my journal and read the kinds of shit that I deal with and the kinds of things that, because I've documented the things I try to do as well. Main thing is I protest. Mental illness is fabricated inequality. Thomas Jefferson said that uh, all men are created equal. Well, that's not the case when you get accused of a mental illness. Uh, so, anyways, so yeah, my dad has a dishwasher. My mom, growing up, multiple. Actually, I got to think for a second. Okay, yeah, there are several. Um, oh, you know what? Okay, one of the picture that I was scrolling through. So first of all, when I went to Salt Lake, so the black belt there, Amir, he recognized that I have a personality of a hardcore right winger, and they're all potheads. I love weed. Weed's awesome, but uh, weed also makes you let go of things that you shouldn't let go of, in my opinion. And that's why I'm not smoking it right now. And also, I'm trying to get work. Well, I'm on a blacklist too. This is not the first time I've been on a blacklist, and this is not. Look, the Mormons run Utah, and and they have the money. Okay, I don't have money. I've never had money in my life, except when I got money from disability, and I made the biggest mistake of my life by not getting out of this shithole. I could have taken the money that disability awarded me, and I could have run off and gone to a different state and started a whole new life. And now I'm stuck and I'm fucked. And I'm probably going to end up in prison again. Or well, I've never been to prison. I'll end up back in jail because I want to knock the shit out of people that do things to me when they sit there and act immature and do things to annoy me and bully me. That's what you do to bullies, is you knock them the fuck out. But when I was in jail, I got pepper sprayed multiple times, and then eventually they forced me on medication. If I go back to jail, I think I've said this in a video. I know I've said it in videos on Rumble, so I'm saying it on YouTube. I don't have very much, and I have a really shitty life, but I do have some stuff. I have a bunch of academic books, and I don't want to lose them. I spent all of my disability, or most of it, on these books. Look, see that? I've got multiple boxes of books because I'm trying to do some great things. And I've got an electrical engineering book. I mean, the thing's at least $90, if not more. I can't remember what I paid for it. Some books are like, $150. I spent a lot of money. I tried really hard. You can try, but this country is set up to make you fail. It's very easy to fail and very hard to succeed. Okay, and it's a very abusive society. Um, I'm a fascist, but I'm a Star Trek fan too. I am. I'm all about Vulcan logic and stuff. I'm also decently about Mormon righteousness, although my righteousness is a little different. I support marijuana. They don't. Well, and when I look in the mirror, I think I'm a person with real legitimate common sense. Now, Mormons, I'm going to go on a bit of a odd and uh, controversial tangent here, but so I think that so with socialism, fascism, and Marxism, they dichotomized human behavior. Here in America, it's all about fascists, they shave clean and shit, and then Marxists, they grow beards. I think it's fucking stupid. It's dumb. It's immature. It's it's Americanized, and it's stupid. It's why we're not getting anywhere in society. I think it's why the world has a lot of problems. It's why uh, we're. It's just it's there's not a lot. You can have lots of smart people. So America is full of some of the dumbest people and also some of the smartest people. And unfortunately, uh, it's not being they're not being applied properly. And you can put a bunch of people together. They can be smart and they can be chicken shits with no courage, and they're all sheep. You can have a dumb person with courage, and they're not a sheep in a crowd. They've made music about that kind of crap. But so Amir, he 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 says him and the other. I smoked weed on 420, Hitler's birthday. Now, I think there's something there. I think it's a culture thing. It's a culture control thing to try to control and pace the timing of developing potheads or people who might other people fascists, smoking up fascists, smoking them up and getting them to let go of shit they shouldn't let go of. Okay, the controversial thing I was going to talk about was Mormons and women and uh, violence and stuff like that. Uh, the Look, a Mormon, they won't hit anybody. Mormons will, I don't know. Maybe I should go pick a fight with a Mormon and see if they fight back. Because so there are these living scriptures, they're cartoons from the 90s and the 80s, and in one of them, Nephi, they're about to head to the mainland of America, and he's teaching one of the kids, that fighting's wrong. When Layman and Lemuel are sitting there, uh, they're, you know, being nasty and mean brothers, and they're gonna sit there and they're gonna physically manhandle Nephi and his other brother. I forgot the guy's name. I think it's Samuel. And what are you supposed to do? Just let him do that to you? Like, if Mormons sit around and they sit there and they find nonviolent ways to deal with problems in society, and I think they're chicken shits, and I fucking hate them. I hate them really fucking bad. Uh, there are normal Mormons out there, but they're scattered. The last time I saw a normal Mormon was when I was about 18 and I went to a young men's thing in my mom's old neighborhood. It's the first time in a long time I've ever seen a Mormon show legitimate emotion. You go to church and you get these fucking broom up their ass, uptight fucking righteous motherfuckers. And you can't even be normal around the sons of bitches. And that affects my mother. She went to church because she had nowhere to go. I won't go to church because I'd rather live alone and stuff rather than sell my soul to Mormonism. They're not good people. The few that are good, they're scattered. Uh, so, anyways, Amir, the black belt there, he's all saying, yeah, Nick's cool. And so now I say cool out of habit because I was fresh out of the state hospital. The way you speak in language seems to have a profound effect on stuff. It's kind of like speech patterns of the black community and speech patterns of ghetto white guys who want to dress and act black. So the one of the pictures that got frozen on, it's uh, okay. There was a protest around the block about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I talked to this chick, and she is talking about Palestine, and she's left as fuck, and I'm right as fuck, and we were getting somewhere. And then some woman walks up and interrupts her train of thought and completely shuts down my ability to talk in a positive light about the Nazis. I was going to talk about how were they were better towards black people than white Americans in the 30s and 40s. They stood up to communism in Russia. Uh, I mean, but Franklin Delano Roosevelt and Winston Churchill, they accept bribes from a specific religion. I can't say it because this video will get pulled because YouTube is run by Google and they're all about mass censorship. They don't support the First Amendment. But it's a certain religion, and I'm going to leave it at that. And so, money, bribery. Bribery works, especially in the land of money and sex. Now, so he says, so they condition me at 10th Planet to try to talk like a more of a ghetto white guy instead of using proper grammar and stuff. And so they conditioned me, and then they kicked me out when I stood up to these two people that were bullying me. And so this picture, I think they're trying to tell me that I was better in this picture or whatever, or maybe, if I dress with baggy pants, if I ditch the Wranglers and I go back to sagging my pants like I used to when I was in high school and in my 20s, that there are some chicks out there that they'll actually go for me. Well, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about pussy. I think that if a woman wants to, clothing is so stupid. In Star Trek, they have a certain kind of, well, never mind. That's a uniform. Never mind. That's a stupid point. Dumb point. But I do recognize that clothes are a stereotype, even though I have Wranglers and cinched jeans and I'm an ex-bull rider and stuff. And so yeah, it's all social control, and it pisses me off. And it's all about the market too. It's all about the economy, money and sex. Um, and yeah, it's kind of funny how I started a video about these hackers on my fucking smartphone, and now I'm on these other subjects and stuff. And if I do that, people call you schizophrenic. So you're not allowed to talk about what's on your mind? Can you? I hope you, the viewer, can kind of take that and kind of think about it. Oh, oh, this person jumps from subject to subject and has erratic speech because they have a lot of different things on their mind, and they're jumping around. They're just trying to vent. It's I don't know if it's psychological or it's not economic. It's warfare. It's warfare upon a human, especially a human that I observe what's around me. I use my brain. You know, I think a lot of Star Trek fans that were fans that are millennials, they're probably burnt out. They probably gave up. Probably because they have to get violent to get things done, and I am not a pacifist like them. See, I'm willing to bet that your average left-wing Star Trek fan, your average commie, your average Marxist, they're going to try to use the political process. But then when they can't convince somebody else of a political opinion, then they get socially manipulative and they try to start controlling using uh, 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 I could use the term mob rule, the majority, because uh, that's what worked in the Soviet Union was the majority. Well, actually, it's a little different there because there's a lot more about that shit. But me, uh, I won't exactly waste my time with people I can't convince. That's why I don't talk to my own family anymore. But uh, um, you know, if you're talking politics with someone and you're talking common sense and they're just bringing up, look, I have a lot of patience and I have been arguing and debating for a very long time. So if I, you could have a person and they could go up to another person and they could have a conversation with them and they'll try to talk about ideas. It could be Bernie's ideas. It could be uh, Andrew Yang's ideas. It could be right wing ideas. It could be whatever. And the person they're talking to is just going to be an immature, annoying douche and just sit there and argue and come up with the dumbest things to argue about. And they'll absolutely uh, derail the patience of the person trying to conversate with them. Kind of like with Anna Kasparian, she was trying to talk to some guy in the past week. And uh, that kind of thing. Now, me, very few people pull that shit on me because they can tell right away I have a lot of patience and I will use a calm tone of voice when I'm talking politics and I will make them look stupid. And that's one of the reasons people refuse to even talk to me because they can't use their First Amendment to just say stupid shit. You know, I think that the First Amendment needs to get taken away from a lot of citizens because there's a lot of citizens of America that just they don't respect it. Um, you could be born in other countries and not be able to say what you want to say, but they're born here and they don't give a shit about it and they abuse it. And when they abuse it, they make life miserable for a person like me and other people that are like me who are, whether they're left or right, at least they are in the political process and they're trying to, well, I don't know, some views, there's a lot of lefties, if they would acknowledge realities of life, they wouldn't be left. They wouldn't be they would at least admit flaws in their own views. It's kind of like how Nick Fuentes, before he blew up, and before he, uh, I think it may have been before he got blackballed for questioning Israel, or it may have been around the time. Steven Crowder has a debate about socialism, and I'm done with socialism. I'm just Uh, it's socialism, capitalism. I don't care. I am a fascist when it comes to standing up for myself, and I'll think about that and whatnot, and maybe put it down on paper. I gotta read Mussolini's Doctrine of Fascism, but because I've never read it. But so there's guy Yusuf goes to a socialism debate, Why Socialism Sucks by Steven Crowder, and he debates him like an immature douche, and he got a lot of heat for it too, rightfully so, because you should exercise a little bit of class when you exercise your First Amendment. That's funny. Uh, but uh, and then so he goes and gets on the Nick Fuentes podcast, and now in the debate with Steven Crowder, he says violence is a part of life, and if you ignore certain aspects of human behavior, he was a computer science major. I'm not a college student, but I am smart, and uh, and I do studying about sociology and anthropology. Anthropology is the study of human existence, civilization, history, all sorts of stuff. It involves all kinds of branches of human existence. That's an anthropological reality that violence is a part of life. And it's not just with humans, that's with animals too. But anyways, uh, so he says that. Now, pacifists, they try to make it so that violence doesn't ever occur in their mind. It's unrealistic. So if you're talking with a left winger and you actually get them to admit realities of human existence and behavior and the realities of life, we'll get a little farther. They have to acknowledge that right wingers have solid points too. But I don't know. Hell, I don't know what to say, think, or do anymore. I just think that I really do think that we're at a point now. We've got 340 million citizens. Last I checked on Google, uh, every single one of them has a First Amendment right. 90% of them don't appreciate it. If you don't appreciate it and you don't want to uh, make life better, I think we should take it away. I think Trump and the I think Trump should sign an executive order taking away the First Amendment. That's what I think. Well, that's enough for this video. Well, no, it's not. So that picture, it's a picture of me talking and acting like a. So there's a historical culture. I'm actually seeing skateboarders and stuff with big baggy pants and stuff. It's a flare up of culture from the 90s, clothing styles from the 90s and stuff. Now you have your left wingers that ride scooters and stuff. They're all about the environment, which I am too. I'm a truck driver. I've got my CDL. I'm still for the environment. But you've got these people that share these memes on Facebook. It's probably having an effect. It's comparing the um, the scooters to motorcycles with wheelies on Facebook and stuff. And I guess that's an example of a slow-paced social engineering based on disrespect and making fun of, clowning on people, which they have a right to do so in this country. It doesn't mean I respect them very much. I don't really care much about dirt bikes and wheelies, uh, but I have no problem with the environmental lefties that ride around on scooters, except for the fact that they are going to be unrealistic. They're, first of all, uh, if Marxism, if we were to if we were to put me and a few of them in a time machine and we all go back to the Soviet Union or China and we all go to a council together, they'll have me in a gulag like that, because I know their mentality. I know the way those kinds of people think. It's not until you've been. Oh, you know what? I gotta say this actually, and I'm gonna put this in the description too. Uh, the public education system indoctrinates with leftism so hard that what you actually get, there's a saying that you're liberal when you're young, and then you go conservative when you're older, or something like that. Now, liberal could be left or right. I think it's more left, but it could be a little bit right. It's kind of like a Democrat conservative versus a Democrat liberal, stuff like that. I mean, politics can go all over the place. But leftism in general versus being on the right, if we were to, so if the youth were not indoctrinated with leftism from the get-go, it would break the cycle. This is very important, actually. I'm going to put this in the description. I'm going to journal it too and say it on Twitter, that if you bust up the leftism indoctrination in age groups, you will have a more dispersed you will disperse political views in this country. It'll be more spread about among ages and stuff. You won't have a whole generation of Gen Zers that are more left, and then a small fraction of them on the right, and then as they get older, that fraction of the two, that ratio starts spreading and stuff. I hope you, the viewer, see where I'm going with this. But this is going to be a slow process. It'll take years to put any change in this. Uh, but I think that's a very important point. If you can be on the right and then go left. You can go back and forth if you have. See, I hate the left-right dichotomy. I think we need to get rid of it. First of all, I have actually witnessed with my own eyes and ears the kinds of intimidation. If you start going to the right, people actually start intimidating you. They actually prevent, like, oh, you're becoming too smart, or you're becoming too buff, or something like that. So people start, I don't know, they'll break in and steal your food or sabotage it. They'll damage your car, make it so you can't go to work, start draining you of money and stuff like that. And they'll just sit there and drain your confidence and your motivation. I'm losing a lot of motivation and stuff. It goes up and down, but it's been low for a while, for a couple of weeks now. I've lost you know, if you want to invent something that's amazing, but you need to know multiple subjects of engineering, and if you decide to bypass college, which is actually an industry, and give it the birdie finger, which is I'm doing, well, then community cracks down on you. And that's what they're doing to me. They're cracking down on me to make sure I don't, to control the pace at which I can learn. So yeah, if youth were more right, and, well, first of all, they might do better in school. But when they get older and they get to voting age, it'll drastically affect the way the country works. Because I think ever since the 60s or 70s, or maybe it's been since FDR's era, that left-wing indoctrination is embedded in families, and they're dominant. They've been dominant, fractionally dominant. And that's why there's that talking point of, well, that talking point is not really left and right. It's more liberalism and conservatism. And I don't really think much about that as I do with left and right. But anyways, I hope that makes a solid point. But yeah, so back to this, and then I'll wrap the video up. So it's a video. It's a picture of me, and it's like, you know, it's the style. So there was that protester. There was a guy showed up on a skateboard, and he pulls a hat, and he shows a hat. It's like silent instruction for me to stop dressing like a right-winger, throw on baggy pants and a crooked ball cap, show up at a protest, act like a dumbass, and maybe they'll let a woman come talk to me. Maybe. I'm not stupid. I wanted to punch that kid, that punk. He was like 20, 22. I wanted to punch him. I should have too. That you'd be surprised about the kind of crap I see. I hate lefties so bad. They're assholes. That's it for this video.